going to film an entire day of eating today. Here is a giant bowl of oatmeal with egg whites in it. And I'm also sipping on a coffee with some Slingshot protein in it. I'll try to tally up how much protein and how many carbs are in all these things. This is 2 packets of oatmeal, and it's gluten-free oatmeal. Got to go fancy. And it's a carton of egg whites. It's like 60 grams of protein from the egg whites, and then I have about 25 from the Slingshot protein. I'll keep filming it for the rest of the day so you guys can kind of see what I've been eating lately, and I'll give you a lot of explanations along the way. Enjoy the video. I had a podcast to jump on earlier today. By the way, it's like 10 o'clock right now. And it's just like weird, black, dark. Or maybe like even like 11 o'clock, 10:30. It's really weird outside. Really foggy and stuff out here. But finishing up my second meal, which is just more part of the first meal. Since I didn't have enough time to finish off my egg whites and my oatmeal. So smash that, go hit the gym, and excited to get a good training session in today with my bro Ham, hitting up some back, going over the now I'm saying strength. Alright, got a potato. I threw some seasoning on that bad boy and threw a little bit of this Fage yogurt, which is just a bucket. This is just a bucket of protein in the way I look at it. Look at the stats on this. Right here, look at that. Look at the stats, oh my God. So much protein. So, no fat. I also buy a lot of stuff like this, and I drink as much of it as I want. Zevia, stevia thingies. I got some cold brew. I got some more carbs sitting out, but I had this post-workout coconut water just because it's got potassium in it. I like bone broth. I dumped some bone broth on the potato as well to give it some flavor. I got a Piedmontese, certified Piedmontese filet just sitting in there in a cast iron. A couple of these other pieces of meat. These are some of the seasonings that I use from a company called Real Salt. These are the scissors I use. You guys see me chopping all the time, chopping up that meat, make it easier. Here's some salt. This is the honey I used this morning to throw in my oatmeal. Salt, hot sauce. Got some sweet potato stuff right here.
Look at what these are called, actually. They're called sweet potato toasts. So it's supposed to be like a piece of toast.
Oh, you toast them up.
Yeah, that's what it's all
and
about.
You put stuff on top of them. Amazing.
But you can put like meat, and you can put eggs on it.
I got my bro Ham here with me today, and both of us are, long-time low carbers and, huge proponents of the carnivore diet, huge proponents of ketogenic diets, huge proponents of, kind of a lower carb style of diet. But we also have found that by upping our protein, it helps both of us to eat less food overall. And so because of that, I think both of us have kind of shifted over into doing things a little bit differently. Once you reduce the levels of fat, it's not smart to bring the fat way, way down and then not have some sort of energy source, since protein's not a great energy source. And so that's why we brought in some carbs. But I don't track anything he does. But for today, I had some oatmeal. I had that coconut water. I'll have a potato, and then that'll be it. I'm not going to eat any more carbs for today. What about you? Where do you stand with how much carbs you might eat in a particular day or something like that?
I don't even worry about the number of carbs. I just worry about hitting the protein number, which is like right around 190 to 200. And then once I hit that, I try to stay under I've been trying to do under 2,200 calories. My limit is 20. I can go up to 26, but I like to stay pretty much below that. I even like to stay below 2,000 if I can. some days I fail on that, but overall what I'm trying to do is like eat less food every day, you know? Like eat a little less, because I know that if I want to do, like I want to do what you did and kind of do bodybuilding and get more into that as I get older and my joints continue to break down. Like I want to be able to move. So I just got rid of the fat, and now I'm replacing the fat with a little bit of carbs. But I don't go crazy on carbs. I still
Have you
eat
counted?
Have you
counted fat or carbs just to kind of give people an idea? So you said 200 and some odd grams of protein.
I can tell you, it's like 100 grams of carbs. Probably about 100 grams of carbs.
About it.
80 about to 60 to 80 grams of fat.
Yeah.
And then the rest is protein, whatever's in there. It usually ends up being
to me, that sounds really reasonable. I think, you know, and I've said this many times, and if you look at the War on Carbs book, there is a diet in there that I refer to as the performance enhancing diet, and I mentioned in there that, you know, you can go kind of 1-to-1 with your for a ketogenic diet, you go 1-to-1 with your fat ratio, your fat to protein ratio. And if you want to extend the diet and change things up a little bit, what you could also do, just some really easy math, and you need to adjust according to yourself, but you could also, protein doesn't matter, it's just have it fucking through the roof and eat it till your heart's content is what I would say. I would go 1 gram per pound of body weight, and oftentimes I would even suggest 1.5, and if you want to try 2, you can do that as well, as long as it's not giving you extra fat calories. So that would just mean that you might be eating chicken or protein powder, or it just ends up, you end up eating different types of protein. But if you wanted to keep carbohydrates in there, what you would do is you would eat a similar amount of, if you weigh 200 pounds, you'd have 200 grams of protein every day, approximately about 200 grams of carbohydrates, and then you'd have about half of that in fat. 200, that's just a starting point. And you can tweak it whatever way you want. If you think, oh, that's too many carbs for me, or if you think it's too low or too high, you can adjust. The fat grams might even feel a little bit low, but you can adjust, or it might feel a little high. You can adjust. So that is a great place to start. What's your body weight? You weigh 150 pounds? Have 150 to 200 grams of protein every day. Have a similar amount of carbs, and then cut that in half, and that would be like your fat intake. And again, just adjust accordingly. Are you trying to gain weight? Or are you trying to lose weight? Weigh yourself. Are you getting in better shape? Or are you getting in worse shape? And you can kind of adjust from there. So we're gonna eat up these meals right here. Lots of steak, lots of food, and get after it. Bye. Look at this yummy meal. My brother brought up a good point about protein. Go ahead and share that out with people, because you can't just go and keep all these secrets to yourself getting jacked.
All the studies say, well, most of the studies say, if you eat extra protein, so if you go up to like 400 grams, you're not going to be 400 pounds.
It's not going to necessarily make you a lot extra jacked.
It's not going to make you extra jacked, but what it's going to do is going to continue to burn fat. Protein burns pretty much like 3/4 of itself, so it's like ends up being only like 1 calorie. It just allows you to eat some more and allows you to get away with like eating more lean meat. But it's got to be lean meat. It can't be like high fat meat, otherwise then your fat count's going to go way too high. So it's just another way to help you to eat more.
That is really simple. Just eat more protein, and yes, it can assist with helping you to get more jacked, but you don't really need to think that way, that you need to eat, 2 grams per pound of body weight or anything crazy like that. Probably 1 gram is probably enough.
Just displaces other food, right? Like that's it.
Gives you an opportunity to eat. If you like to eat, keeps you from being hungry. Fiber can do something similar, so you might want to look into adding some fiber in as well. It's all, to me, it's all about, if we're trying to gain control over the diet, how do we just keep ourselves from being so goddamn hungry every day. Last meal of the day, made up a Slingshot protein shake with about 100 grams of protein, a country grammar, as I like to call it. Threw a little bit of this in there. Never tried that before, so I'm gonna give that a shot. And then made up these. This is Piedmontese beef, 96.4 ground beef, 100 grams of protein, about 14 to 15 grams of fat in this amount that I got here on top of these sweet potatoes. The sweet potatoes were what you saw in the video earlier. Those frozen sweet potato slices, you can actually put them in your toaster. which didn't work great, but I had to just kind of keep putting it in the toaster, and eventually worked. You can cook them in an oven, but I think you can just cook them in a pan as well, which I don't know why it doesn't tell you that, because I cook a lot of stuff on a pan. I think people try to make cooking so complicated all the time. It doesn't have to be. It can be pretty simple. Just get a pan, get a good pan, and just get to it. So this will probably be the last meal of the day. It's about 6 p.m. Finally kind of cleared up out here a little bit, but what a weird day. A lot of fires out here. Here, let's go for a ride. I gotta make sure I don't bang my knee. Here we go. And clear a course. Clear things out a little bit. There we go. All right. Anyway, weird day. It's all like orangey and shit out because of the fires. But I had a great training session today. Got to use the bicep board some more. That was a lot of fun. And you guys will see more and more stuff coming out about the bicep board. Just want to finish up and conclude. I am getting questions. People are asking, why the switch from carnivore, but I don't really view it as a switch from carnivore. I mean, still the majority of my food is meat. So, I mean, if you look at this plate, it's like there is I think a sweet potatoes vegetable. There's a vegetable on there, but it's still primarily meat. And how many times a day am I eating carbohydrates? Today it was a little bit more than normal. But in a given day, it's normally like 1 to maybe at tops 3 times that I'm having carbs. That would be on a training session, because I usually have carbs post-workout in form of just some post-workout carbohydrates, like a dextrose, or I might use, have some coconut water post-workout, or even just some fruit, something along those lines. And then for the rest of the day, most of the time, it's just meat. But occasionally, like I did this morning, I had oatmeal and egg whites and stuff like that to try to fuel the workout for today. Got a beastly workout in, felt really good, felt strong, feel powerful, body weight staying good. The goal is to get below 225 or so. I want to get below 230 first and see what that looks like, because I weigh about 236 in the morning. I'd like to get beneath 230, but have that be real weight, not just like a morning dehydrated weight, and then just kind of assess from there and see what I look like. I'm trying to hold on to as much muscle mass as I can, so that's why we're dumping in, crazy amounts of protein. That's why we're dumping in some carbohydrates. So why did I switch from carnivore to what I'm doing now? I would say that I really didn't switch anything too drastic. However, I did lower my fat and I did bring in carbohydrates, and I have specified this before in the past that there's a huge difference between living a carnivore lifestyle, being on a carnivore diet, or utilizing carnivorous principles to your advantage versus doing a carnivore challenge. You can kind of think about it like this. There's that diet out there called Whole30. Well, Whole30 is the idea of giving it a go for 30 days, and I know that they want you to stick to it after you've done the 30 days, but Whole30, to me implies, I know it's whole foods, but it also implies like you're going to go for the whole 30 days. That's kind of what that means to me. And that's what a carnivore challenge is to me as well. Somebody, says, hey, it's World Carnivore Month, which is coming up in January. World Carnivore Month, it's on, and you'll, I'll probably do that again, participate in that again, get you guys fired up and amped about it, because I do like that style of eating. But I think it's unnecessary for me to eat that way all the time. I just think that there's multiple ways to lose weight. There's multiple things that work really well. So what I try to present to you guys is I don't want anything to be really one way or one-sided or dogmatic or anything like that. Although I enjoy low carb diets, I think they're important for most people, because most people are fucking fat and most people are fucking lazy. And I don't have any problem saying that. People don't move enough and they're really fat. They're really fat And when you're fat like that, you don't want to move. I understand how it happens. I understand the cycle. My whole family has been fat or has dealt with obesity. I myself was pretty fat. And I understand the perpetual cycle that you get in, but I think we also need to just be real and recognize that when you're big, when you get real big, you have disordered thinking going on. And it's something that you can change. And the way that you would be able to change it is to find something that interests you. Find something that you can do. Find something that you can repeat. And if you fail, error correct. That's where all knowledge comes from, is through error correction. All happiness comes from problem solving. Solve a problem for yourself. Solve the problem of not wanting to be fat anymore. Make the decision, don't be fat anymore. Maybe you don't want to be like shredded. Maybe you don't want to look like a bodybuilder. Maybe you don't care if you're a powerlifter. Maybe you just want to feel comfortable in a t-shirt. Maybe you just want to feel comfortable without a t-shirt. Whatever the goal is, apply some reason to it, get a hold of it, participate in different diets, do some different diets for a week or 2-3 weeks, see how they work for you, see how they work for your body. I mean, usually you'll know in about a week or so. If you never dieted at all, then you might need to, be on one for like a month straight to kind of get a good feel. But in general, most people, you'll know within 2-3 days whether something's working. What I'm doing right now, I think would work for anybody. However, work for is a term that would be hard to figure out, because if you're not interested in what I'm doing, then it wouldn't work for you. It would be difficult for you. So I shouldn't say it could work for, anybody or everybody. I should say that it would work for everyone if they were able to follow it. And that's probably true of most diets. Almost every single diet out there works. But compliance is going to be a huge part of it. To be able to comply, to be able to do. And you want to find things that you're interested in. What do you like? What style of nutrition do you like? Does it sound good to you to eat a slice of pizza every day? Then maybe you want to try flexible dieting. Maybe you want to try Weight Watchers. People make fun of some of these different things that are out there, but look, they can work. They can fit your mindset. Two things that are undeniable, though, that I think are really important, and it might even be more than just two things, but these two things are important. When you eat more protein, you will start to eat less food. Protein is the most satiating, so if you bump up your protein, if you have a diet that consists of between 30 to 50% protein, you will most likely not be fat, or you'll most likely start to lose weight after a period of time, because as far as I can tell and as far as I can see, that will drive down your urges to continually overeat, because all human beings are in search of protein, and when you eat Pop-Tarts and candy and different things like that, they don't have much protein in them. Even going to fast food and stuff like that, you're just not getting enough protein. So we need protein dense foods. We need to start to figure out different ways to kind of control the overall amount of energy that we consume, because we're energy toxic. We take in too much energy, that's how you get fat. But protein is not really much of an energy source. Fiber isn't an energy source. Those are things that you can eat quite a bit of. You can eat quite a bit of vegetables. You can eat quite a bit of fibrous stuff in a given day, and it doesn't count against you in terms of your caloric load. I'd even go as far to say as protein doesn't count against you in terms of your caloric load. And if it does, maybe it only counts as 1 calorie per gram rather than 4 calories per gram, which it is now. But if you were to eat, like I'm eating 400 grams of protein a day, that would be, 1,600 calories, I think. Hopefully I got that right. 400 times 4 would be 1,600, right? So the way I'm looking at it is that those 1,600 calories, they don't even count. And maybe I'm not correct in that, but that's my belief. I would also, believe that, well, you can also say that it counts as 1 calorie per gram, and then it would be 400 calories versus 1600 calories. And that's a 1200 calorie difference. That's pretty significant as well. That's a few meals worth. So as far as I can see, protein and fiber, even if protein counts against you a little bit, it shouldn't count against you a whole bunch in terms of your caloric load. So if you want to eat more food, smash some protein, smash some fiber, smash some protein, smash some fiber. Easy ways to get in protein: egg whites, low-fat cottage cheese, low-fat yogurts. Now, if you're not eating carbs, you don't have to worry about the fats as much, and you can have whole fat and 2% and mess with things like that more. But for me right now, I got non-fat Fage yogurt, and it's really just a bucket of protein. In a sense, I use protein powder, probably maybe 20%, 30% of my protein for the day probably comes from protein shakes like I got right here. Oh my God, that's really good. Some MBSlingshot protein, really amazing. Can't wait to drop a bomb on y'all with the supplements I got coming. Really, really fun. Really, really fun. Can't say much about them yet. The name of the company will be Within, because I believe that everything that we need is already inside us. It's already within us. And to unlock these things, we need to live a good, strong, healthy lifestyle. And you don't necessarily need supplements to accomplish that. What you need is good, sound nutrition, good sleep, good hydration. But these products are going to help the people that want to push the extra mile, the people that want to go the extra click, they want to put in the extra rep, the extra set. The people that probably could utilize a little bump in their nutrition. They probably could utilize some supplemental ketones. They probably could utilize some supplemental amino acids. They probably could benefit from supplemental protein shakes and things of that nature. I don't want to say too much yet, but I do. Anyway, thank you all so much for following along. I really appreciate it. Putting together these videos like this is a giant pain in the ass, but it makes it all worth it when I see all the comments. You guys are so positive. I'm seeing more and more people in the community assisting and helping one another, so continue to do that. I know that the questions are directed to me, but if you see a question in there and you think you can answer it, say, hey, I'd love to chime in because I think I got something I think would be helpful for you. And here's what I think would work well. And who knows? Maybe you can have a really big impact on somebody just by communicating that. And maybe I don't ever get to the question, but you did. And you can help, you can assist somebody out there. I really love it. I love seeing the positivity. Each video has so many, not just positive comments, but it's even getting more and more rare to see any negatives, to see any thumbs down. It's all like thumbs up. So keep it up, y'all. Keep telling people about this channel, because I think you guys already know you're in on the secret. I think sometimes you guys don't want to tell other people because you don't want to let people in on the secret. You don't want to let them know how you're advancing and how you're making a lot of progress the way that you are. All right, so I'm still hungry, watching some TV, eating some of this Icon Meals shrimp, only 2.5 grams of fat per serving and 22 grams of protein. So this is a protein leveraging dream. So finishing off the night, eating up some of the shrimp. Might have some yogurt too, with a few extra scoops of protein in it. Plain Fage yogurt, scoops of Slingshot, protein in there, vanilla or chocolate. Works really good. Just eating a couple pieces of shrimp. I ate quite a bit today, but just for whatever particular reason, it felt like a bottomless pit. I wanted to touch upon what my brother said earlier, and sorry I keep clearing my throat. There's a lot of smoke out here in California. a lot of fires. And I went on a walk today, and I think it kind of irritated my lungs a bit. Anyway, we talked about the extra protein potentially not assisting with, any further with getting more jacked, but actually I want to kind of retract that statement or rethink that statement a little bit more and tell you that what I've noticed is that to get my protein to have it 350 to 400, it hasn't, if it was only for hunger purposes, I would just fast. And I just wouldn't worry about it. I would just, fast, and I would eat later in the day. But what I've been noticing is that it is helping me to get a little bit bigger, to keep more muscle, to hold on to more muscle, and to stay a similar body weight, even though I'm losing body fat. The other thing is you got, gluconeogenesis happening, right? So when you have, protein, and you have, large amounts of protein in absence of carbohydrates, it's believed that your body will start to turn the protein into a sugar, basically. And I want to point out that I am not a doctor, I'm not a nutritionist, so if my wording of some of this is not correct, I'm just trying to share with you the general principle of what I think is going on and my own opinion here. So if somebody does want to correct me, that's fine. I'm open to the criticism. But anyway, you got gluconeogenesis going on, and basically that's your protein turning into sugar in your body. Now, it is believed that that is from a demand standpoint and not a supply standpoint. So how cool is this? If that theory is true, which all these things on nutrition are always just theories, and it's hard to really figure out what's like a real law or what's a real, just because a lot of studies on nutrition are done on people that have poor nutrition. So it's just very hard to identify what's causing what's assisting with what. And that's why you hear nutritional people, they'll say, well, there need to be more studies, but this is what we understand to the utmost certainty that we have, right? There are definitely some truths that I think you can openly say, and they seem to be the closest thing to the truth that we got for now. Anyway, an examination into it a little further, I think that what's cool about gluconeogenesis is the fact that it appears from some of the information that I have that this is from a demand-driven standpoint and not a supply. So that means that just because you ate 350 or 400 grams of carbs doesn't mean that those are going to turn into carbohydrates. They will turn into carbohydrates if they need to, if the body needs it. So in the absence of carbohydrates, or in a day where you gave out a lot of energy, those things can turn into carbohydrates to help give you the energy that you need, maybe to help give your brain some glucose, maybe to help give your muscles some glucose, and so forth. So that's something to think about. I just wanted to kind of end with that. Finishing up on this shrimp, as I said, the last thing I might eat is some yogurt. I've shared that kind of recipe 9 zillion times. Hopefully you guys have seen it before. I probably won't record that. This is probably the last thing that I'll shoot for the day. Sometimes I take the Fage yogurt if I already scooped out some of it. What I'll do is I'll just scoop protein directly into the whole bucket, and I'll just mix it right in there. That's what I did tonight. So I mixed in 4 scoops of protein powder in there. There's an extra 120 grams. Let's see, 120 grams, extra 120 grams in there. And it already was very dense. It already had 17 grams per serving, and it was has 4 servings per container, or 5 servings per container, or something like that. Fage yogurt, that's what you guys need to get. I'm gonna head on out of here. Strength is never weakness. Weakness is never strength. I'm gonna punch the camera one more time. Oh, I kind of didn't hit it all the way. Hold on. Strength is never a weakness. Weakness is never a strength. Catch you all later. No sound effect.